I want to thank Lee Shee. He's done just a superb job as the chair of my Judicial Selection Commission for the last 5.5 years, and you deserve great credit for what you just described. I thank you, and I thank the members of the commission who have done such outstanding work. I say that they make my job easy in that they send me such excellent candidates that I can't make a mistake. They make it hard because they're also well qualified. That is very difficult, and in this instance in particular, we had 3 supremely well qualified individuals. I wanted to pay special respect to Chief Judge Cleary, who couldn't be here today because of his calendar, but you know, he's just been outstanding in service, and Judge Flores as well, up in from Eveleth, Minnesota. But I chose today to announce the appointment of Judge Anne McKeig as the next Associate Justice of Minnesota Supreme Court. She describes Minnesota, describes you know, the complexion of Minnesota and the heritage of tribal ancestry, and shows the importance of education. I hope that she serves as an example to young people all over the state of what you can accomplish. Growing up in Federal Dam, Minnesota, which I must confess I had to look at the map. I thought I knew most places. County Road 8, Cass County, and then made a jump from Reamer High School to St. Catherine's University, and that's an extraordinary accomplishment. And I asked her in her interview what prompted her to do so, and she credited her mother, who was also a St. Catherine's alumna, and is here today.
She is right over here.
All right, all right. Well, congratulations, you have a daughter to be very proud of. Unfortunately, she'll describe her husband and 2 of her children are on a vacation in Mexico, so she didn't notify them and allow them enough time to come up here. She's going to join them shortly, but I thought I'd share a bit of what Judge McKeig wrote in her application, which I think describes the background that she has. She said, "I grew up in rural Minnesota in challenging circumstances, surrounded by poverty. The lessons I learned as a young woman from Federal Dam, Minnesota, planted me a strong desire to make a difference for my community. My passion for public service comes from seeing the enormous needs of my community matched against the limited resources on the reservation. I wish to continue my career of public service at the highest level by serving as an Associate Justice on the Minnesota Supreme Court." And you will. And with great distinction, I know. Prior to being appointed to the Hennepin County District Court in 2008, Judge McKeig served as Assistant Hennepin County Attorney. Says County Attorney Mike Freeman hired her. Congratulations on your excellent judgment and launching her career in public service. And now she's the presiding judge on the of the family court in the 4th Judicial District. So, Judge McKeig, soon to be Justice McKeig, congratulations, and they're all yours.
Well, forgive me because I'm nervous. So I wrote some remarks, which is not something that I normally do, but hopefully it will keep me on task and out of trouble. First, I want to thank Governor Dayton for the honor of continuing my service to the people of Minnesota as an Associate Justice on the Minnesota Supreme Court. I am humbled by the opportunity and to continue to working to deliver justice for all Minnesotans in this extremely important role. And I also too want to acknowledge that there were 3 finalists for this position, and I respect and acknowledge Chief Judge Edward Cleary, who unfortunately could not be here. He's had a very long and distinguished career, and also my fellow Northerner, Judge James Fleury, who also has a very long and distinguished career, and it could have very easily been either one of them. I look forward to working with each of the justices on the Supreme Court, and I hope to draw from your collective wisdom. I hope you will share that with me, and I hope that you will have patience with me as I find my way. In 1992, I was hired by Mike Freeman, who is here, and I am eternally grateful. It was a fantastic job that landed me in the Child Protection Division, of whom I have some of my cohorts here, and who have become my lifelong friends. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it took a village to mold this 25-year-old fiery attorney who started in the county attorney's office, and many of you are here. And I just have to say that we should all thank, and my mother has thanked and had to thank repeatedly, for the assistance of Kathleen Blatz and John Stanek, and I think Denise Riley, is she here somewhere? For all of their work in trying to bring me to a level of maybe honing in some of that passion and putting it in a direction that was going to be meaningful rather than getting me in trouble. But in 1995, when I was an assistant Hennepin County attorney, I attended the swearing in of Robert A. Blazer. The first American Indian sworn to a district court bench, and the longest serving. I didn't know him, but he was a White Earth member. And I, a proud descendant of the White Earth Nation, knew that if he could do it, that maybe I could. And it is people like him who take the time to mentor a young girl from Federal Dam, Minnesota. And you're going to hear me say that 1,000 times, because it is Federal Dam, Minnesota, population 110. 2 bars, a few stop signs, a lot of fishermen. But it is people like him and his wife who have led the way, that have allowed for others like me to dare to dream. So today is a historic day, not only for myself and for my family, but for all Native people. It underscores the importance of one person leading so that another can follow. Now I've messed up my makeup. I am forever grateful to Judge Blazer, who not only became my mentor, but lucky for me, he became my friend. To him I say, Chimiwich. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, my husband Jose and the 2 youngest kids are in Mexico, and they are enjoying vacation with our family. And I will join them soon. But I am happy that my 3 eldest, Balam, Siko, I don't know why I'm crying. And thank you so much. And Itzel are here. And I have someone else that I need to thank that's a very important part of my life, and that is Lulis. She's my comadre, and she has shared these kids with me. They moved here when they were young, and I love them with all of my heart. And I love you for sharing them with me, because you didn't have to. But you did. God, you'd think someone's dying. This is terrible. But it was important because it's all about family, and she saw that, and we worked this out together. And if you can believe it, we all lived in one home for quite some time, and we get along great because we knew that it was about the kids. So we have 5 kids together, and we're very proud of all of them. And my comadre Debbie is here. along with my other great friends, and you'd have no idea the hours of therapy work that she has saved all of us. So I cannot tell you how humbled I am and how much I appreciate this opportunity. It shows the commitment from the governor to the people of all walks of life. He asked me a question during the interview, and he asked me what would or does Federal Dam think about the Supreme Court? And I said they would say that it's unreachable. And so I know that's not true. I know that no one in the judiciary believes that. And I hope that today is an opportunity for the entire judiciary to send that message to all of the federal dams, whether it is the smallest town in Minnesota, whether it is a tribal community, or whether it is a large urban area rich in diversity, that in Minnesota, the Supreme Court and all courts are access for everyone. Under Governor Dayton, more Minnesotans can look at judges and see themselves in the faces of those judges, adding to the accessibility to the court and embracing the diversity that makes Minnesota great. So I'm done crying now. And thank you all for being here.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. I want to start my comments by talking about somebody who isn't here. And that's Justice Christopher Dietzen. He's traveling with his family and so isn't able to be with us physically today, but he's certainly here in spirit and sends his congratulations. We're so grateful for Justice Dietzen's service to the people of Minnesota, and it's been an honor and privilege to serve the people of Minnesota with Justice Dietzen. I also want to thank Governor Dayton for the time and attention that he pays to performing his very important constitutional function, and that's filling judicial vacancies in the state of Minnesota. And I want to thank the members of the Selection Commission for the very important role that they play in that process. And finally, I want to thank Judge McKeig's family for sharing her with us for all these years and for being willing to continue to share her with us, and thank Judge McKeig for all of her great service so far and being willing to come to the Supreme Court and continue her service to the people of Minnesota. Congratulations, Judge McKeig. Thank you, everybody.
No, Judge McKeig on the
We moved.
on the night that Hubert Humphrey learned he had terminal cancer, he gave a speech which was fortunately recorded to the Minnesota AFL-CIO, and partway through his eyes welled up with tears, and he angrily wiped them away, and he said, "Muriel tells me I shouldn't cry, but I say a man who can't cry is a man who has no heart." And I would say the same for a woman, so you obviously have a heart, which is great. We'll open it up for questions on this subject, and then afterward I'll take on whatever else people want to discuss.
Governor, how important was it having somebody with a Native American background?
Well, it was important, and diversity is important, and I've stressed diversity in all of my appointments, including to the courts, the district court, the appellate court, and the Supreme Court. But I wanted somebody who would be an outstanding associate justice, because the court, 7 people, requires that commitment to excellence and judicial expertise. Justice Dietzen, I want to join with you, Chief Justice, in thanking him for giving me the opportunity and the honor to make this appointment. He stressed that he thought the Supreme Court would benefit from somebody with district court experience. And of course, Judge McKeig has that, as well as other qualities. When we did our due diligence and asked various people about her, we just unanimous praise for her and her personableness, as well as her judicial temperament and expertise, and just her common sense wisdom. I mean, growing up as she did with her life experiences, that's what really makes her special. Picasso was once asked by somebody how long it took him to complete a painting that he just finished, and he said, "All my life." So all of your life is summed here in who this person is, and I think she'll be a superb Supreme Court justice.
Governor, at your last appointment, when you appointed another woman, we invoked the dose of Governor Rich. I have to do it again now that you have a female majority, a mark that you personate. Can you comment about making history again here?
Well, yesterday was Governor Purvich's birthday, and there was an unveiling at the Mall of America in tribute to what he did to bring that project to Minnesota. And so Mary Sue, his daughter, and his granddaughter were there, and the subject came up, and she said that one of Rudy's proudest legacies was that he appointed a majority of women on the Minnesota Supreme Court. So I again wouldn't sacrifice anything for quality, and I'm proud to have achieved that with the appointments that I made. But I think it's a special moment that it's now returned to 4 women and 3 men.
Is this one of the more proud parts of your legacy when you look back?
Well, we'll see how they perform. But I have great confidence, and I think they do even more so.
Judge McKeig, regarding all your life and the history of your life, what is your view of how Minnesota courts have treated Native Americans for 150 years? And what does your appointment say symbolically or otherwise?
Well, that's a tough question. I would say that it is always an equal access issue for everyone. And I think the courts have worked very hard and diligently to bridge gaps that have been there in the past. And that takes creativity, and it takes collective wisdom. The state has been, I think Minnesota particularly, has been extremely committed to working with the tribal communities. We have the Tribal State Court Forum, of which Justice Lillehog is a liaison and has worked diligently on. We have district court judges like Judge Blazer, who is now the chief judge at White Earth Tribal Court. And I think that Minnesota is committed to working on those relationships, which makes that accessibility issue kind of not marginalized, but it makes it more meaningful.
And how does your background influence how you make decisions? Are you different than some of the other people in the way you go through your decision-making process because of that background?
Well, I'm different. That's for sure. I think everyone in this room who knows me would agree that I'm different. It can't help but inform. I think we always bring our worldview and where we grew up and how we were raised and with the values that we were raised. We have to use that. There's a time, there's a place to balance our decisions with that information or how we were, our philosophies, but it certainly does influence. I had the best of both worlds. I have a mother who was a Fulbright scholar who went to St. Catherine's, raised in Bemidji. She's incredibly brilliant. And then I had a father who I would be remiss in not saying today, who passed away at age 61 from diabetes, but he was the blue-collar union man, and he believed physical labor was as important, and I'm sure some days he thought more important than an education. So I had a great gift by both parents. Thank you.
What other factors do you consider as you were making this pitch, particularly now that you will have appointed a majority on the court? I mean, what makeup do you want to see on the court, and what impact might that have in future cases?
Well, I don't know that I'll have other appointments. The closer I get to the age of 70, the more I disagree with the requirement that judges retire at 70. Otherwise, I'd be out here next January, as some of you have tried to get me to be already. But the 4 I've appointed, 5 now. Justice Wright became Judge Wright in the federal court. I look, as I said, for excellence. I look for proven commitment to public service. I look for people who have demonstrated that they have compassion, that they understand, even if it's not directly out of their own life experience, the plight of so many Minnesotans, and that we do have a much more varied state than we have had before. And so, the diversity is part of that, but again, that's no substitute for experience and excellence, and that's what I look for.
Anything else on this topic?
Okay, thank you. I'll be back.